Okay, so we're moving farther on into the fruits of the Spirit. So far, what have we hit?
1 week.
What?
How many are you on?
This is week 6.
Yeah, I've been here once.
I think this is 6.
Are
Um,
you behind me when I'm posting?
yes. What have we hit so far? We have hit love. That's number 1.
Joy?
Joy, kindness, patience. Did we do peace? We did do peace. And that's all. We did patience last week. That was last week. Or was that 2 weeks ago?
No, we did kindness last week.
Kindness was last week. You're right. Patience was 2 weeks ago. Patience is the one I think I just uploaded
Yeah.
last night. Patience just went online. So we're moving farther. If we were going into order, it goes kindness straight into, I want to say goodness, which is a lot like kindness. So I ended up actually skipping because we'll hit that again here in a little bit. We got a couple weeks. So we're going straight into faithfulness. This is one where Christians tend to struggle. This is one that people who aren't Christians probably don't really have. I mean, it's faithfulness. That's your faith to God. So it's a one where us as Christians struggle because it's tough. I mean, the Bible literally tells us at one point, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, just a teeny tiny thing, that much faith in God, he can move mountains and do all kinds of stuff. I feel like I got quite a bit of faith, but I ain't never moved any mountains, so I guess I don't.
Have you ever asked the mountain to move?
No, I don't live in the right state. I just go to Colorado,
Probably why they want to have it for you.
then yell at a mountain.
Ew. And people pass by and like, what is that guy doing?
Yes. Yeah, they did.
That was the weekend we were supposed to be there on the same day.
Oh, really? Johnson shut in.
Oh.
All right. So, being faithful, like I said, it can be tough. As humans, we struggle. There is not a human out there that don't struggle. Now, we get to the pleasure of this faithfulness from the fruits of the Spirit, right? Like we've been talking about all these different ones that we've had. What does faithful mean? Does anyone have a definition for me? Being full of faith. Okay. Well, that is correct. All right. So faithfulness is full of faith. What does anyone have any idea what the actual definition of faithful would be? Because you can't really look up the definition of faithfulness. I tried and it was just faithful.
To believe in something.
Okay. Yes. Yes, but you're trusting
It
something.
actually said faithful. I looked it up. What does it mean?
I looked it up.
That's what it said.
No. Faithfulness said faithful. Because all it does is add NESS on the end. But faithful in itself, it means to be loyal to or not waning. Like not waning would be like weakening. You have faith. You're full of faith in this thing, as Zephyr said. And this means I have, I'm full of faith, I have a good grasp on Jesus and God and stuff and what they mean to me as a Christian. And like I said, as humans, we think, oh, I'm pretty good at that. And then the Bible tells us that we're not because we can't do all this awesome stuff. But that's all right. I mean, you're not alone because no one else is either currently. And God knows that. God created us all, and he knows that we are lacking in a lot of different things. So, let me find where I went there. The world, so if I am loyal to something, what does that mean? If you think of that as words. Just a dog. I mean, dogs are normally loyal, but what that is true.
But he wasn't supposed to be loyal to Grant.
That's
It's
true.
not
It was my
Grant's
grandpa's dog. It didn't like me. So what would being loyal to something mean? You're dedicated to it. I mean, if you think of, whenever I think of loyal, I think of, for some reason, like medieval times, like a loyal knight and stuff, like my loyal peasants.
I would have never thought of that.
That's where my mind instantly went to for some reason. But it's something like they're not going to turn away from that thing. Like I am loyal to Taco Bell. I love me some Taco Bell.
I never have any opportunity to go there.
What?
I said I never have any opportunity to go there.
Yeah. Let me get your license. Are we good, my left side?
Yes.
Thank you. Well, so like I said, it's being loyal to something. You're dedicated to that thing. All right, so the world is constantly trying to pull Christians away from God because, like I've stated in the past few weeks, the world does not like God. They're totally, as Dad preached a couple weeks ago, they're rebelling against God. The Bible says they will, and they are. And they're trying to put a lot of stress on a Christian's faith. They want to make Christians feel like that is not correct in what we're doing and it's not true. And we have to be loyal to God in that. Or, because if I'm not loyal to Him, I mean, I can be, if I'm thinking I'm not loyal, I can be turned to another direction. I don't know what's happening back there.
That's a kid crying.
It does sound like dog call, you're not wrong. But I can be turned in
that
the
sound
other
like?
direction. I mean, if, let's say I was on a side. Let's say my silly example a while ago, me being loyal to Taco Bell. If you think Grant is loyal to Taco Bell and I meant it, that probably means anytime I go out and eat, you're going to find me at a Taco Bell, right? But what if I just,
Go out in general.
what if I don't go to Taco Bell and I start going to Wendy's all the time?
Wendy's 5 for 5.
But what would that mean? I mean, my loyalty to Taco Bell weakened there. Like started going somewhere else. I don't care if you go to Taco Bell or Wendy's. I enjoy both.
I think
But it's, when I think of loyal, that means I am fully, like Julie said, dedicated to this thing. I would not say I'm loyal to any fast food place. I will go wherever someone takes me, and I will be so happy.
is there a fast food restaurant you don't like?
Is there a fast food restaurant I don't like? Not that I'm aware of. I can find something to eat anywhere.
What is
I
wrong with
actually like McDonald's.
I don't like McDonald's that great. I don't like Burger King.
What? Why?
What's wrong with Burger King?
I don't care. Is it good still? No.
Dairy Queen's the best.
Dairy Queen's solid. All right.
I get to make my own food. So.
All right, so off food for a moment.
By the way, those are party blowers.
They are. Yeah, I heard that. My left side. Am I gonna have to separate you two? So let me find where I'm at. What things does the world throw our way to try to get us off of being loyal to God as Christians? What things are they throwing at us? Questioning everything we do, lust. What is things like, if I think of the first thing that pops into my head, and I don't even know if they teach this in school anymore. They might. I don't know. I didn't ever went to public school, so I can't even confirm that they did in the first place. I always heard they did. But do they still teach, or did they ever teach evolution in school?
Yeah, they haven't.
I know they used to, I think.
They used to, but I think that they've passed something where they can't collectively do that.
Okay.
My teacher did it anyways.
They still talk about microevolution, not like macroevolution.
Okay.
Because there was a really big fight over that.
Okay, I got you. Well, evolution, like, that's something they threw hard at people in, I want to say, like, the 90s. I'm not sure, though. I should have looked that up. But that goes totally against God in everything, because evolution just tries to show that God's not real when they have no evidence against that, and everything points to God being real. and all the exceptional stuff. I mean,
There's a thing I died.
They're just like a whole bunch of kids just crying all at once.
they got party blowers.
Oh, it's actually what that is?
Yeah.
I thought it was kind.
So, like I said, with the what?
Now, but I thought someone was actually.
You want to go shut that door, Julie?
Like, my goodness.
So with the evolution and everything, when that was a popular opinion, that was people trying to tell people that the whole world and everything and us is a super advanced like things. I mean, we are miraculous. I mean, you get nicked or something, 2 days later you're healed up, and if you barely get nicked, oh yeah.
2
But
days, no, it's not healed.
Cut or it's not safe.
But all these things, I mean, humans are super, like, I mean, just look at all the stuff we figured out, science and stuff. And then you can look at animals and stuff. There's animals that is like so,
Dumb.
like they're made just perfect for what they do.
Some animals are dumb.
And someone wants to make up that they just happen to turn out that way because of a explosion in the beginning of times, and then they just turned into it. Doesn't make any sense.
Okay, but hear me out. What would have made the explosion? That's my point.
Yeah, nothing. There was nothing there to make an explosion.
Wasn't it like a speck of dust or
Like, I don't know. What else? What else
Listen,
can?
aliens would have existed then.
You got it.
I tell you.
Because I know you not a very smart person. I don't know, Mason. Stop talking.
Okay, so what else can the devil or the world throw at us that wants to try to turn us away from being loyal to Jesus? Science. I'll include that in the whole evolution thing, but yes, for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna go with distraction.
Distractions. Okay, what can be distractions?
Oh, social media.
Social media, anxiety.
Mental illnesses.
Those blowers. You're not wrong. Oh,
Reality is a big distraction.
living.
Living, yeah.
Like these smallest things distract me.
Okay. Do you think the devil specifically, as a, because he wants to try to separate us from Jesus, obviously. Do you think he can throw the wrong people in our lives and the wrong friends in our lives that'll try to get us away from God? Oh yes. You get around the wrong group of people and they will pull you down and pull you away. And ways they do that is such as if you get real wild friends and stuff, and they want you to be wild and start nagging at you that you're boring and not cool. And
If you have a friend, they'll probably be boring too. They'll probably just boring with you.
yeah, but some of them are pretty wild. I've had some wild friends before. They'll try to get you to go do stuff, and it's like, I don't think I ought to do that. So, has anyone? So, being faith-filled, we talked about just a few things. There's a lot of things that the world throws at us, but what are some things that will build up your faith instead of breaking it down?
Praying.
Prayer. What?
Reading the Bible.
No,
I'm actually really confused.
he was talking about his shoes. Lift him up. Not quite what I was going for. What did you say? Reading the Bible. Praying, reading the Bible. Those are two huge ones. I have one more, what I would say is a big obvious one. Going to church. Having better friends is a big one. I mean, if my friends are causing the problem in my faith, get you some new ones.
To get new ones.
Some friends, you just gotta pray for. Like, you can't be fully in their lives. Just pray for them, because either way, it's not going good for you guys. Can you go back there and just click the X button on the laptop? It's playing. It was piecing the sermon together. But, so far we have good friends, we have prayer, we have reading, we have church. Yeah. Just pause it. It's fine. What else?
Oh, what?
I will say, and I say this a lot, and there's a lot of people I know, a lot of teens I've taught that will think I'm dumb, but the type of music you listen to can build up your faith or knock it down. If I'm listening to like super explicit or depressing music, it's going to knock you down more. I mean, there's no reason why I'm depressed, and it's like, oh, I'm going to go listen to depressing music. That just stacks on
But
top of each other.
sometimes, like, a depressive song is like your favorite song, so like, singing it makes you happy and stop making you depressed.
Are you sure about
I'm
that?
very sure. Yes, I know. Sometimes depressing songs is good.
I don't listen to that type of music.
So music is another huge one. All right, so has anyone gotten, I don't care what it is, but has anyone in their life ever built up, whether it's doing a chore or doing some kind of thing in a schedule, but built up a habit you have of doing? Like a good habit that I hope most of you have is like brushing your teeth before you go to bed or something.
Okay.
Um,
What do you mean like actual chores? I'm like, well, I haven't made that a habit yet.
Okay. So, has anyone ever had a habit and then you, let's say, miss it for like 2 or 3 days and then it just dies? Like, it's so much harder to pick back up once you lose it.
I cried myself to sleep every single night for like 3 weeks, and then like one night I just did it, so I was fine. And I've done it since. So.
I mean, that was a good habit to break.
It was a
So
Um,
you told yourself, no more crying, I'm done, go to bed. And you went to bed.
So,
and if not tonight.
Well done.
one thing that Zephyr said was going to church is something that'll build up our faith. Let me find where I'm at. My notes are really messy today. I apologize. So I have recently started going to, I decided to add it to the lesson, but I have started recently going to the gym. I really found out I enjoyed the gym, but I really enjoy it, like I said. But you go, and it's not that easy, I found out, and it makes you hurt, I found out.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever worked out, and then you're, like, for the first time, and then you just hurt?
I hate doing that.
I'm sore
I
currently.
used to do PE with Penny Hatton. I thought woman was crazy insane. And I call every day.
All right. So, and what happens, like, right now, working out is more of a habit for me. I've only been doing it for like 3 weeks, but I just enjoy going and I look forward to it. What happens when I'm doing something that makes me tired and hurting or anything like that, honestly? But it can be like normal schedule. But I'm using my gym workout as a example here. What happens whenever I miss a few weeks and don't go? I have to build it back up is one thing. But I'm kind of want to stop. I do, most of you guys, Cameron would not know, I do martial arts. And as a martial arts instructor, I've seen through the years, you have students miss for like 2 weeks in a row, and then they just gone. It's like they miss 1 or 2 classes, and then they come back, and they might be out of shape, and they just give up. You'll be one of the people.
You do it now?
But
Yeah, I go, but we've been off.
you get distracted for a couple weeks, and you get, as Zephyr said, or she said, you have to build it back up. You might even get a little weaker.
Are you actually?
My left side,
Oh,
you get a little
I was
weaker.
amazed.
You get less motivated, like I said. It's much easier to keep rolling with something when you don't lose it, right? If you keep that habit. I have noticed throughout my life, I get into a habit of reading my Bible really well, and then you miss like one night. It's like, oh, when did I read my Bible? Oh, 3 weeks ago. Well, I'll try again tomorrow.
And then guess what? It's 4 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Church is almost, I'm going to compare it to Church is almost like a gym for your faith. Because if I'm going to a gym, I'm trying to build up my muscles, obviously. Going to church helps build up your faith. You're around, hopefully, a bunch of good people. I'm not saying everyone in church is good, but there's plenty of them out there. And you're trying to build up that faith. You're going to learn from someone. Like I said, I am a martial arts instructor, so people come to the school to learn from me and the other instructors. We come to church because, in my opinion, Dad's pretty smart when it comes to the Bible, and we're learning from him. He's almost like an instructor when it comes to learning and building up our faith. So I find myself, when I build a habit, as I said, looking forward to it more and thinking about it more. So if I find myself in a habit of going to church, I might think about the sermon I heard for the next couple days, or thoughts might pop in my head from that sermon, or anything like that. That's going to build me up and make me think about God more and build up my faith, make me full of faith. And church, like I said, it can be an easy habit you can fall out of if you miss a couple weeks, because it does take a little bit of effort. I mean, it takes your whole Sunday morning. I mean, if you're going to church, you don't have any time to do anything before church, and then you don't have any time till probably about 1 o'clock that afternoon. So
I do absolutely nothing on Sundays. But eat.
So like I said, and the world likes to, and I am convinced of it. I know there's not much you can do about it. I don't blame the ones who get drug into it. But the world likes putting stuff in between people and church. Because the devil knows that church, like I said, it's kind of like a gym for Christians. You go there to learn and get stronger. As teenagers, the biggest thing that takes teens out of church is work. Because we all need money. In teenage jobs, they normally, because you guys are the first workers they get, you guys don't have much of an option, and they stick you on the weekend shift because the older ones don't want that. So instantly that takes you out of church most of the time. And like I said, I don't really blame you guys. You need money, and that's just how it works out. But the devil does use that, in my opinion, to take teens out of church. That is why there's a big gap there in most churches where it's like the 18-year-olds to like the 23, 24-year-olds are just gone because they started working and then they lost their habit and then they just never pick it back up. So like I said, going to the gym, I'm trying to strengthen my muscles. I want to be stronger. Has anyone ever seen someone out in public and you just know that that person works out? Like you can just tell. Like we've seen those people. Like you can tell. And one thing about churches, when it comes to being like a gym, a new Christian, or maybe you're not a Christian, you go to a gym, or not a gym, but you go to church rather. You see people who you think, man, these people are really good. Like these people got it going on. And that can be an encouragement. Totally. Like, oh, that person can do it. I can do it. I go to the gym, and like I said, I'm the new guy at the gym, and I see guys who are like jacked, and it's like, wow. And a friend of mine told me the other day, they're like, they started somewhere. You guys start somewhere too. And I'm like, that's a good point. Maybe I'll be the dude the new guys go to the gym, and they're like, wow.
Maybe you'll always be the guy saying wow.
I could always be the guy saying wow. But people go to church and think the same thing, or they can. And like you said, we agreed that you can tell when someone works out a bunch. Like, oh, that dude tries, or that girl tries. How do you tell? Like on working out, if it's a gym person. Big old muscles normally, right?
Either they're slim.
Or they're slim, or both. So the same thing goes for people in their faith, in my opinion. Like, I don't even have to go to a gym to be like, oh, that person obviously works out. And people don't have to go to church or know God to think there's something different about that person. The more faith I have, are my people good? My left side?
She's confused.
I don't have to, lost my train of thought. I apologize. Hold on, I'm getting it. You don't have to do something.
I'm so confused.
All right, so people can tell when your faith is strong, whether it be you're working or just out and about. They can tell by our fruits of the Spirit. And faith, I mean, if I don't have faith, like I said about the armor of God when we was going over it, if I don't have faith, I'm not going to have any of these other fruits because they come from God. And I got to have faith in God to get his gifts and the fruits. But people will see that and know, oh, there's something different. If I see Zephyr go through a hard time and she takes it good and she's like, it'll be okay. And I'm like, you should be freaking out right now. What is your problem? And
One of my friends' reactions to whenever I go through something.
and she tells me, oh, I'm good. God's got me. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. What's this God guy got? And she tells me about it. That gives her the opportunity to share God. And that's huge when it comes to Christians. And we got to know that we have this amazing God to have faith in, that he's going to use every situation. I've been thinking, most of you know that my buddy Avery has that brain tumor, right? And when he got sick, he told me, his girlfriend's been coming to church. When he got sick, he told me, hey, she's not got that many friends. She hangs out with pretty much me. And then she hung out with his friends, which was me and some other guys. She's like, do you care to make sure she does stuff and doesn't get in this depressed state that he was afraid she might? And I'm like, yeah, I can hang out with her. And we started hanging out, and I got the opportunity to tell her about God, and she ended up putting her trust and faith in God. I mean, you can see God's got stuff under control. God knew Avery'd get sick, but God also knew that Sabby had come to know him through that situation. Sabby's now got other friends coming to church. They're just from this situation. Before that situation happened, I didn't hang out with her that much, just when Avery was around, and she wouldn't have had the talks that me and her had to get her to that situation. So we have this list that I wrote down here for some reason, but the stuff that strengthens my faith. We had church, Bible, prayer. I have music. I have sermons written down as well. You can look online. There's all kinds of cool sermons. I have friends written down. And like I said, if you make your faith stronger, people are going to notice. If you make your faith stronger, there is going to be not even just lost people that don't know God. There's going to be other Christians notice that want advice from you. The other day at the gym, like I said, I'm new at the gym, and this was like my 4th time there, and there's this older dude, like he's like close to 60, and he's just like,
He's working out.
oh, he's like huge. He's working out harder than anyone there. Like he is a buff dude, and I'm like, that guy knows what's going on. And he stopped working out for a minute. I walked over there. I'm like, I want your advice. I'm like, you look like you know your way around the gym. He's like, I guess. I'm like, what should I do? And he gave me all this advice. And that implies with Christians as well. If I see someone who has been a Christian way longer than I have, and they seem to have it going on and know what's up, hey, how did you get where you are? And they're going to probably tell you and give you advice. And I want to eventually get to that place where younger Christians are like, hey, you seem to know your way around God. How do I do better at that?
I see the same thing in my band kids, and I'll tell you, this is one of the best feelings in the world.
Yes.
When someone looks up to you like that.
Yes, exactly.
If you ask Julie about something, she says, pray about it.
That's a bad answer?
It is a valid answer.
Yes, it's awful.
It's the real
Just
answer.
want someone to answer it for
I
you.
think I'm said more than just pray about it. If
Yes, it was.
So
Helpful.
there's things that they're going to see. Like I said earlier, you're not going to, and like I said, we're humans. We're all going to struggle. I'm going to make this list sound like this person has to be the perfect person. We're going to struggle. Some days you wake up just in a bad mood. But hopefully as a Christian, if my faith is strong, I'm not going to be as worried. My attitude is going to be good when I'm going through hard things or stuff is not going in my favor or people are just getting on my nerves. Like you're a different type of person with this kind of faith. And any of those things where I said that you're going to struggle with those at some point, it goes the same for younger Christians, people in the faith. Like they're going to see that you have less worries and better attitudes. So if I am faith-filled or faithful, I'm holding on to God, and God's holding on to me. I mean, He's the one holding us in reality. But I work that to have endurance. So endurance, I'm sure most of you know what that word means, but it just means you can go longer, right? Like at the gym, I kept using the gym as a reference here, but it worked really well for this lesson. At the gym, the more I lift, let's say I'm doing bench press, all right? I'll pick on Ellen. If I get Ellen, and she's never bench pressed in her life, and I bench press a lot, who's going to be able to do more? Ellen. Me, correct? All right. So the more you work on it, the more you'll be able to do, the more faith you'll have. And sometimes the devil, I mean, you guys are younger than I am, but I know you guys have gone through it too, where the devil just throws stuff in your way constantly. There's one thing after the other, and it's just like piling up, and you're like, this is terrible. And you feel like eventually you're just not going to be able to handle it anymore. God's going to keep helping you through that. And the more faith you have, in my opinion, the easier that becomes. Like one thing I noticed at the gym, I've been lifting with some friends of mine. One dude outlifted me by like 40 pounds or something. It was a big difference. But he did it once, and his muscles were like totally done. Because how I get trained is we do a bunch of reps of the smaller weights. We start at my max, and then we go down and keep upping the times I lift each time the weight goes down. So my muscles have to continue working. But his muscles, he got it done once, and then he was like done. His muscles couldn't go any longer. The more you work towards your faith, the longer you're going to have this attitude. Because I'm telling you, sometimes I've seen people who have a good attitude when it comes to faith and stuff for a little while, and then the next problem comes, and the next problem comes, and their attitude gets a little worse each time. The more faith you have in God, knowing that He is good and He's going to do stuff in your life, the longer you're going to be able to go on knowing that. So I'm going to go ahead, have everyone bow your head for me. Nobody looking around for me, please and thank you. So tonight's lesson was all about our faith in how we talked about earlier. The world is trying to go against that. They're trying to pull you away from God and just tell you that you're wrong in thinking the way you do and loving God the way you do. But I told you a completely different story, that God is going to build you up and help you endure stuff and keep you going. So I just have a couple questions tonight. And for my newer ones, when I ask questions, I'm going to ask you to raise your hand only if you want to. There's no pressure whatsoever. And raising your hand is not for me. I'm not looking around and thinking I did a really good job because 3 people raised their hand. This is just you telling yourself you're doing something physical on the outside by raising your hand and telling yourself, I'm serious about this. I'm committed. I want prayer. I know I need help in this situation in my life. But my first question both my questions kind of go together, but I'll go ahead and separate them. Is do you have problems when the world is trying to separate you from God, whether it be through friends? Zephyr said science. There was multiple things we said there that they're trying to pull us away from God and make our loyalty to God fail a little bit. But if you have trouble with that sometimes, and sometimes maybe the world makes you think, maybe it is right. Maybe I can do this and be just fine, and you have problems there in your life with those type of situations, and the world puts pressure on you and you feel like you're going to fail sometimes, and you want prayer for that you could be strong in that. Go ahead and raise your hand for me. Okay, lower them for me. My second question is, you want to be this faith-filled person that I was talking about. I told you multiple things how you can exercise your faith. Church is an awesome one. Bible reading, awesome. Prayer is excellent. Talking to God. Music, having the right kind of friends. But you want to work out your faith, that it could be strong. You could be faith-filled, that the devil could not tear you down, that you'd have endurance to be able to withstand all the stuff he throws at you and know that God's got your back and how awesome he is. And you want that kind of faith, and you want to work on that kind of faith, go ahead and raise your hand for me. Okay, go ahead and lower them. And my last question is, so I don't know everyone's story here at all, and I don't normally ask this question, but God, us having our faith in God, we know that Jesus came down and he died for us. He died for our sins and came back to life after 3 days to put our sins away and save us, that we wouldn't have to be alone in this world. And all we have to do to get into heaven and put our trust in Jesus is put our trust in Jesus, know that he died for us and that we are covered by him, that is all we have to do. There is nothing I can do good enough that's going to get me into heaven. That is all God, and all I have to do is believe that and believe that he saved me and that he has my heart and my life. But like I said, I don't know everyone's story here. But if you're thinking about or want prayer, like maybe I haven't committed to Jesus, but it's something I would like prayer for and I'm interested in. No pressure. I'm not going to call you out. But if it's something you're just thinking about in life and you want to think about more and pray for, go ahead and raise your hand for me. Okay. We're going to close out in prayer. Lord, thank you for all the blessings you've given us. Just guide and direct each one of us here, Lord. Bless the ones who raise their hand that they want to be full of this faith, that their confidence in you would not wane at all, that they could have endurance when situations pop up in their life. They want to be that type of Christian where people come up and ask them how they do it. Bless the ones who raised their hand that said the world gets to them a little bit, Lord, that they get pulled in so many different directions and the world's trying to pull them in every direction but towards you. Just protect them, Lord, and just bless their mind, that they could just know that you're there for them and that you are exactly what we need. I just thank you for the group we had tonight, Lord. Bless the ones who weren't able to be here, Lord. Bless all the ones who are watching online. Bless all the prayer requests one more time, Jesus. I love you, Lord. And just help all of us that we could be faith-filled. In Jesus' name, amen. Someone hit the camera.